Hello, and you're all very welcome along to the latest Champ.ie podcast, Ireland's premier horse racing podcast in association with Doyle Sports, Gowran Park, EJ Menswear, Shamrock Thoroughbreds, Midland Travel and McCafferty's traditional Irish bars.
They're coming to the final fence and the 25 goes Trieste. Nick Rocket lands in the lead from Velvet Elvis, gone well clear of Favori de Shondu and Bushman's Pass. They're well strung out. Nick Rocket on the stand side for win number 10 in the race for Willie Mullins.
Enter our Champ.ie headline competition in association with Midland Travel, where you could win a trip for two to the Cheltenham Festival 2026. For a chance to win, simply subscribe to the Champ.ie podcast on YouTube if you haven't already, and scan the QR code to enter your competition details today. We look forward to discussing your weekly #Fivecast selections in the comment section below. Hello, and you're all very welcome along to the latest edition of Champ.ie Horse Racing Podcast. It's season 7, it's episode 4, and on this week's show, we have an action-packed lineup for you. Let's take a look at what's coming up. We'll be starting off the show with the Irish Spotlight. We'll be looking at the Fivecast preview, Gavin Cromwell, and of course, Noel Moran, exclusive guest this weekend.
She's a mare we like. It's a big shout now, putting her into a list race the first day, but
when we start out at the beginning of the year with Gordon, we only make plans for 2 race meetings, and the first one is Down Royal and the second one is Navan.
As always, we'll try and find you the best bets for this weekend. The 5 key races that we're going to look at are going to be from Navan and Cheltenham, and those races up on screens for you right now. We'll be discussing those in great detail. Here with Champ.ie and in association with Midlands Travel, here's your chance to win big with a trip to Cheltenham next March.
To begin with a chance of winning an all-inclusive trip for 2 to the 2026 Cheltenham Festival in association with Midland Travel, Ireland's leading horse racing travel specialist. Simply subscribe to Champ.ie on YouTube if you haven't already, and scan the QR code on screen and answer the following question. Who won the 2025 Cheltenham Gold Cup? Was it 1. Galopin de Champ, 2. I Know the Way You're Thinking, or 3. Marine Nationale? Register your competition details today, including your YouTube username. Don't forget, you must subscribe to Champ.ie on YouTube to qualify. The competition winner will be announced on Thursday, the 12th of February. Best of luck and be lucky.
Yes, great opportunity for our listeners, of course, to get involved in winning that fantastic prize to Cheltenham in March, Barry.
Absolutely, Dave. And of course, over 50% of our viewers are watching this show, Dave, on a mobile device. So if you are watching it on your mobile, Dave, you're probably unlikely to scan the QR code. But in that case, Dave, down below, there's a link in the podcast description to enter the competition. And what's the old phrase, Dave? If you're not in, you can't win. We look forward to the draw on the 12th of February. So get entering.
Get entering is right. Well, on entries, there's plenty of exciting entries ahead of the weekend racing this weekend, Barry.
Yeah, certainly is. Look, Marine Nationale, he's the headline entry, really, isn't he, for Barry Connell? And he more or less said he just needs to get this horse out now, needs to get a run into Marine Nationale. He's in decent form, but the big question mark, even though he won the Royal Bond on softer ground, we had, I think, 30 mils of rain yesterday and Tuesday as we were recording on Wednesday. And I think we've up to 20 mil scheduled for the remainder of the week and into the weekend. So it's not going to be ideal. Tread carefully. I think if you're considering backing Marine Nationale at 6-4, I quite like Dino Blue. I'll come on to her chances in a couple of moments' time. So he's the big one in the 4-3. We obviously have the Yellow Clay form with Final Demand and the new line, of course, in the Turners at Cheltenham. To me, he's one of my better bets of the weekend. Look, he's unbeaten at Navan. Noel Moran, of course, Gordon Elliott, for example, first and foremost, Dave. He's 60 entries at Navan over the weekend. I think he'd 8 winners at the Navan Racing Festival last season, and Noel Moran had 4 of the 8. So we'll hear from Noel later on in the show. But the Yellow Clay, for me, I think looking at race conditions, he looks really well suited by the Lismullen hurdle, 2.5 miles. He's yet to be, I suppose, tried over 3 miles. I think he will be a contender perhaps for something like a Stayers hurdle later on in the campaign. But as Noel will mention, and you'll hear from Noel later on in the show, there's really only 2 meetings in Bective Stud's mind, Down Royal and obviously the Navan Racing Festival. 4 winners at the meeting last year. He's unbeaten at Navan. I think he's a huge contender. He's 5-4, Dave, and to me that's definitely a bet. I could see him going off a shade of odds on. Looking at the opposition, the race could cut up. Dino Blue now. She runs perhaps in the of course the Fortria, and so we mentioned Marine Nationale. He will have to give £10 to the mare, who we know is proven over further than 2 miles. She started out over the last couple of campaigns over 2 miles, Dave. She's 4-1 in the betting, so she's proven on soft ground and she's proven over further, and she's of interest at that price. I think that's definitely a bet as well. And the one I like, Dave, in the bumper, the listed bumper at Navan on Sunday. Now, Gavin Cromwell has won this race in the past, but with Only by Night, but she had a run under her belt going to Navan. This entry for Gavin Cromwell, the horse called Kiva, and she's by Blue Brazil. A massive filly. We'll hear from Gavin later on in the show. Was actually down in Gavin's yard during the week. She's seven. She must be 17 hands. This Kiva. So she's a cracking recruit, and I think it's telling that Gavin starts this horse first time up in a listed bumper at Navan. So she hasn't a run under her belt. But if you watch back her point to point, Dave, she clearly has plenty of ability, and she obviously has a big heart as well. She found a way to win. She looked beaten twice in her point to point. She stuck at it well. She loved the mud. And as mentioned, I think it's a tip in itself that Gavin is going here first time up with a mare who hasn't run under rules as of yet. First time up in a listed bumper. I think she'll take the world of beating on Sunday.
Yes, well, it's a very exciting weekend as we are going to head into our first break. And right after that, we'll take a look at the first 3 races on this week's Fivecast selections.
McCafferty's traditional Irish bars are located across Ireland, the UK, Spain and the United Arab Emirates. McCafferty's bars provide the perfect backdrop and atmosphere to watch all horse racing and sports events, serving traditional Irish food and music played 7 days a week. Come to McCafferty's for the crack and stay for the experience. Check out mccaffertysbars.com.
Yes, and welcome back to the podcast, and we are delighted to have your company this week. We are going to look ahead to 5 key races for you, and we want you, of course, to put your selections in the comment section below. And of course, the first of those races. And Barry, what about all those Christmas prizes? You're going to be better than Santa Claus this year, I feel, for Champ.ie listeners.
Yes, more of the prize to be confirmed as well in the coming weeks, Dave. But I suppose 2 winners or more coming up to Christmas qualifies you for the big draw. So get your selections in this week. And obviously some of the fantastic prizes. Breakfast with the Shark Hanlon. We've promised to bring the Clonakilty black pudding down to Banglastown, County Carlow for that stable tour with the Shark. You'll see horses galloping, and Shark will make you the breakfast. €150 voucher from McDonagh Shopping Centre, the Irish Field, as well as subscription for 12 months online. We'll be giving away a race and stay package for 2 to the Fairways Hotel in Dundalk, and more prizes to be confirmed over the coming weeks. So some fantastic prizes to be given away, Dave. That's on the eve of Christmas. So as you mentioned, Dave, will be like Santa Claus here on the Champ.ie podcast. But once again, you must like the video, subscribe to the channel to be able to chance, and also put in your Fivecast selections to qualify. So lots to look forward to, Dave.
Absolutely. And the first of those Fivecast races that we are going to look forward to is the 12:35 on Saturday. It's the Juvenile JCB Triumph Trial, Juvenile Hurdle. This is a real good race. And for me, there looks to be plenty of exciting entries in it, Barry. I'm going to let you have the floor and guide us in the way of what you really like in the opener.
Yeah, East India Doc took this last year, Burdett Road the year before. So James Owen, he's a runner in here, and of course going for a hat trick in the race. But obviously those 2 that we mentioned, quite smart animals, and obviously went to the Triumph with big chances. But this is competitive. Look, Parchment is going to be all the rage, Dave, for the David Pipe team. We had Jack Tudor on the show, and he said this horse, he struggled to pull him up at the top of the gallop. Like, he's working really well. His form from France looks strong, and I thought he looked really straightforward as well in his run in France. Paul Nichols here has a horse as well. He'll be giving weight away to Secret Force, and this is Gavin Cromwell's runner. He could have a big weekend at Cheltenham. He's well represented, both Cheltenham and Navan. And I thought he was really straightforward, this Secret Force, when winning at Punchestown in his first start over hurdles for Gavin Cromwell. Came obviously off the flat, achieved the rating of 74, and jumped really well, as mentioned. He looked straightforward. What I like the most about this Secret Force as well, Dave, he's priced up at 4-1. He's going to be my selection. He's had a run. He's had a bit of experience over jumps. And I just love the way he hit the line at Punchestown in his first start, the way he opened up inside the last furlong. I thought there was a good bit, more left. And if you look back the form, obviously the third Adrian has since won for Ted Walsh at Fairyhouse. So the form has a little bit of substance to it, with the third going on to back up the form. A bit of a character, Dave. Down at Gavin's yesterday as we're recording, and has a little bit of a character about him, this son of Frankel. And I think he's made, as I mentioned, he's getting £5 as well, Dave. That's worth noting off the likes of the favourite in here for Paul Nichols and Parchment. So he's getting £3 off Parchment. But Parchment, David Pite's runner, could be absolutely anything. I just think with the run under his belt, I think this could be a smart juvenile. And the race at Punchestown was previously a race won by Espar Dallin, of course, who was a top juvenile who went on to be the champion hurdler for Gavin Cromwell. So don't underestimate him. He's 4-1. There's money for him, Dave. Secret Force is going to be my bet in the race. It could be a good weekend for the Irish, by the way.
Okay, let's move on then. We're going to look ahead to the November Gold Cup, the big Premier Handicap. It is the second race that we're going to look at in the Fivecast selections. And as you can imagine, Barry, this is going to be wide open and plenty of big chances. What have you come down on?
Yeah, I've actually come down. I mentioned a good week for the Irish. I think Conyers Hill is a big chance at a big price. It's 14-1 each way for Paul Nolan. His only runner at Cheltenham over the course of the weekend. But I suppose some of the leading contenders, Jaguar, obviously very, very good on the new course. He's got up plenty of the weights. He could potentially be a graded horse in a handicap here, Jaguar. But first run of the season, be a little bit concerned as well with the Greenhall and Guerrero stable form currently. Panic Attack, she is interesting, 9 years of age now, not getting any younger, and her record fresh would maybe put me off her, even though the Skelton team absolutely flying it at the moment. Il Redoto, he looks the solid one here, Dave. He's had plenty of racing. He's had over 20 runs over fences in his career, but he's only 8 years of age, and he's only £1 higher than when he won the race last season. So of those at a shorter price, Il Redoto to me looks the most solid in terms of a bet in the Paddy Power handicap chase. But Conyers Hill, as mentioned, for Paul Nolan. I like this return effort and his tee-up run for Cheltenham at Limerick on soft ground. I think the softer the ground, the better for this Conyers Hill. And he has form as well on the old course. That was just something to mention about Jaguar as well. Obviously, the 2.5 mile handicap was on the new course, more of a stamina test. And he made a couple of jumping errors as well, Jaguar, at the festival as well. But the new course, it is more of a stamina test. I just think Conyers Hill on the old course here is very, very interesting. 6th in the Grand Annual and only £4 higher, Dave, than obviously when he ran at the Cheltenham Festival. And he's unexposed over 2.5 miles. He'll be ridden to come home well, Dave. And I think there's plenty of pace in the race, so the race could set up for something like Conyers Hill coming from off the pace. He's a nice racing weight as well, 10 stone 6, and I could see him massively outrunning those odds of 14-1. So for Paul Nolan, when he sends them over, Dave, he's usually not too far away. And at 14-1 each way, that's the way I'm siding, Conyers Hill.
We move on then to the third of the Fivecast races, because that is the big intermediate handicap hurdle. This is at 3:30, and it is around 3-1. Gowran Park with Boyle Sports at the top of the market as favourite. This is a good starting point, isn't it? David Pipe runner, and of course last week's very special guest who was on the show with us, Jack Tudor, is on board.
Yeah, on board, and he was very keen on Gowran Park as well. He was his horse to follow for the remainder of the season. It could be on a nice market thought of 132. You said it's a good starting point, Dave. I think it's the finishing point as well. Hampstead, by the way, is in here. Of course, landed, I think, Cheltenham November meeting nap last season. You might remember for Tony Martin, but he's got up plenty in the weights, Dave. I think he's got up £10. And his form has been a little bit disappointing. And I'd just be concerned as well on Friday, Dave. We're obviously due at Cheltenham a good 30 mils of rain. So we mentioned the rain for Conyers Hill. That will definitely be a plus for him in the Paddy Power Gold Cup. But definitely Hampstead wouldn't want any more rain. I don't think his better form is on nicer ground. He's 6-1 in the market. Look, might have a small chance. But Gowran Park is the one for me, Dave. He's made a habit of winning, in fairness, in sort of low-key novice hurdles last season. Second run in handicap company here. And if you look back to his maiden hurdle form, Tripoli Flyer, he beat him, dispatched to him for Fergal O'Brien, and he's got on to achieve a rating of 142 thus far. So could he have £10 to a stone perhaps to play with? I think Gowran Park here, very, very interesting, stepping up and trip to 2 miles and 4 furlongs on softer ground. And David Pipe as well. The Pipes love to target this meeting traditionally, Dave, as we know. And this horse, obviously, 5 wins from 8 in his career. He's unexposed. David Pipe has had 4 winners in the last fortnight. So stable in form, lots to like. 3-1. He was 9-2. I think if you're getting 3-1 or bigger, I think it's more than fair. The race could cut up as well, Dave. Gowran Con, I think a big chance here off 1-3-2.
Thanks, folks. It's going to be a Baltic winter, and our winter wonder is back here at EJ Menswear and EJMenswear.com. €279 for 5 pieces, all in, including your wool coat. We've an unbelievable selection in this. Start off with your coat, build that. Choose a top from a quarter zip knit from Ted Smith. Any of our shirts, hundreds and hundreds of different combinations you can put together here. I've gone all black with the charcoal grey coat. Everything included in this: your coat, your quarter zip, or your shirt or your top, your bottoms. We even throw in the free scarf and socks. €279. It's a saving of over €200. The colours in the coats are class. You've got your camel there at the front. You've got your French navy. You've the black and you've the charcoal that I'm wearing here. A saving of over €200. The Winter Wonder bundle is live now on the website, EJ Menswear, and in-store in Grattan Street in Sligo.
Yes, and of course, it's great to hear from EJ Menswear as well that many of you are availing, Barry, of that extra 5%, of course. EJ Menswear orders online. All you got to do is put in the promo code CHAMP5 to your order, and you'll avail of that extra 5%.
Absolutely. Yeah, good reports from Eamon last week down on EJ Menswear. That's plenty of you. The viewers have been availing of that offer. I suppose it is coming up to Christmas after all, Dave, and every little helps. So, fantastic selection over on the EJMenswear.com website, Dave. And I think it's next week or the week after we will be heading down to put together a nice little competition coming up to Black Friday as well. So absolutely. Big thank you to EJ Menswear and Tom and Eamon, Tom and all the team down in County Sligo as always.
Absolutely. Right. Let's move on then to race 4 of the 5 that we look at for you in the Fivecast selection this week. And we've got, of course, the 3:30 on Sunday at Cheltenham. It's the 2-mile Barry Greatwood Handicap Hurdle.
Yeah, it's a race that I don't have a massive strong opinion on this year, Dave, to be honest. I think it could be a tricky race. Look, we mentioned 30 mil of rain scheduled on Friday. Not much rain on Saturday and Sunday. So by the time the Greatwood comes around at 3:30, could it be a little bit tacky, perhaps? I don't know. I think what type of horse do you need for the Greatwood? You need something that's obviously well handicapped, that travels well, but I think a strong stay in 2-miler is exactly what you need in the Greatwood Hurdle. If you look down through the list of winners over the years, one that ticks the boxes, Dave. Just first of all, the top end of the market, I would have question marks over the likes of Alexi and Celtic Dino. Both won. They're both coming in here in decent form, but the ground would be a little bit of a concern with all the rain due on Friday for both of those, and the book got up £7 in the handicap after winning last time out. Mirabad, when that one here at Cheltenham, got an easy lead. That's obviously having its first run for the Skeleton team. How much improvement is there to come from the ex-Good Doctor horse here? I'm not entirely sure. Gibbs Island experience maybe a small little bit of a concern for him, and obviously his run as well, Dave, at the Cheltenham Festival would be a little bit of a negative there. But Tony Martin's horse here, I did mention that I'm very much Team Ireland at Cheltenham this weekend. I thought Put a Pound in a Jar smells like a little bit of a plot. Now, I just wonder would this horse maybe want a little bit of nicer ground, but he has gone through heavy ground in the past. If you look back to his bumper form, he wasn't beaten all that far by Shuttle Diplomacy, and that form reads particularly well, Dave, because that horse obviously last year for the Coopers, as we know, went on to finish third in the champion bumper, only beaten 3 lengths by obviously Bambino Fever. So I think this horse, I think, could be better than his mark, Dave. Put a Pound in the Jar. I love the way he won at Punchestown as well. He looked really well handicapped off 117. He looked thrown in, Dave. The further he was going, the better he looked. And he's a strong stay in 2-miler, which I think will help. I might just balance out the ground factor here. So he was well handicapped off 133. I am pretty sure of that, Dave. Let's say he's laid out for Tony Martin. So it's 16-1. I'm willing to take a chance each way. I think he could hit the frame.
Yeah, he could be very interesting. And just on Celtic Dino as well, very interesting to hear Sam Thomas just about the ground. He is, warning that he will not be running him if the ground is not somewhere right. So with all the rain that's forecast, that could be a concern. Right, the final race of the 5 that we're going to look at in the Fivecast selection this week, of course, is the big 3-mile Tri-Town Chase on Sunday at 2:32. It's always a brilliant spectacle. It's always a really good race. You're talking about well-handicapped horses to run. You need something that's got a little bit up their sleeve in this as well, don't you, Barry?
Yeah, you certainly do. And, you know, younger horses, unexposed second season chasers have a decent record, to be fair, in the Tri-Town Chase. One of my favourite races, Dave. You know, the winter's very much in when when we're talking Tri-Town and even Goffs TS this chase. I just love those two big stay handicap chases. Gordon has obviously won 6 of the last 10 Tri-Towns. Noel Mead won the race back in 2018. So County Mead, the Tri-Town tends to stay at home at County Mead. 7 of the last 10 trained winners of the Tri-Town were trained in County Meath. 2A Parmy, of course, winning for Noel Mead back in 2018. And look, Will the Wise, he could be unexposed, obviously, for Gavin Cromwell. Sport in the Park, he's the one I really like in the race. And a shout out as well for Yeah Man, who could be, I think he's a pound lower this season than when he actually hit the frame in it last year. He was either 4th or 5th, Yeah Man, for Gavin Cromwell. So, albeit he mightn't be the best handicapped horse in the race, Yeah Man, I think he rode a big race. But Sport in the Park, Dave, is the way we've come down here for this. I think he just has a lovely profile for the race. 10 stone 7, that's the first thing to mention. Obviously coming in off the back of a prep run of hurdles in which he went on to win. And it looked a strong race at Galway. 2 of his wins, Dave, in his short career, Sport in the Park, has come at Galway, should I say. So up the hill at Navan, I don't think it's going to be an issue. He hits the line pretty hard. And he is unexposed. If you look at a couple of his chase runs, Dave, they were over 2 miles and 2.5 miles. So he's unexposed beyond 3 miles. Exactly the type of profile you need for the race. He jumps particularly well, seems to have a good attitude. And for a trainer who's won the race on a couple of occasions in the past, he'd absolutely love a Tri-Town winner once again. Sport in the Park is the one that's of most interest. And that hurdle form, by the way, if you look back, there's a horse in behind called Attaboy Charlie. He's very well handicapped as well, so going forward. So I think the form looks strong from Galway, back over fences, first run in a handicap in the Tri-Town. Won't be an issue, I'd say, for Sport in the Park. He's 6-1. He was double figures. Look, if you're getting bigger than 6-1, 6-1 or bigger, I think it's more than fair in the Tri-Town.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Will the Wise is the 5-1 favourite with Boyle Sports for the Tri-Town on Sunday. And let's now hear from the trainer of Will the Wise, Gavin Cromwell.
Gavin, we're here with potentially a bit of a future star, Bud Fox. It was absolutely brilliant at Punchestown and ended up at the weekend Cheltenham.
Yeah, he was very good at Punchestown. Sticking at bumpers again for this season. He's only a 4-year-old, and I think he's open to plenty of improvement. And you know, if people are asking why are we going at bumpers again, he's a very good jumper. It's not for that reason at all. He's only 4. If he hadn't a run in the Punchestown bumper, the obvious thing would be to go for a bumper now and go the bumper route, and that's what we chose to do. So hopefully he's going to be a big player in Cheltenham weekend.
Absolutely. Best of luck with him. Gavin, quickly wanted to touch upon obviously your entries at the weekends. Secret Force could possibly could run as well at Cheltenham, could he?
Yeah, definitely the plan to run. Nice horse, was very good the first day. And an ordinary enough sort of a 3-year-old hurdle, to be fair, but you just love the way he did it. Loves jumping, travelled well and picked up well. He's a lovely pedigree and plenty of size and scope, and looks like a horse that could keep improving.
Company Sergeant, could we see him possibly in the big handicap?
Yeah, he's going to Paddy Power along with the other Mozzie. He ran a belter at the festival over the same trip, and I think he should be a player.
What about closer to home? Tri-Town, you have a couple in. Will the Wise, he looks interesting.
Yeah, unexposed horse, I suppose. He was good in Galway the last day. A couple of mistakes the last 2, but on the whole jumped very well and does jump very well. I think that Navan is going to suit him, and he's in off a nice enough weight, and hopefully has a chance.
Couple ran well in that race last year, obviously Percival Galwa and Yeman as well. What else are we likely to see maybe in the Tri-Town?
Yeah, Yeman is in there as well, and the intention is to run. Disappointed a small bit in Limerick the last time in the Munster National, but I'm not really sure why, but maybe possibly Keith set him light up the back a little bit too much and a bit early first run back, but he seems to be in great nick. Although he probably is exposed to the handicapper. Sport at the moment is in at the bottom and less exposed. If the rain keeps coming, would be a concern for him. Would rather nice ground. So
And anything else, I suppose, to look forward to over the coming days as we approach Navan?
Cueva's going to have an entry in the mares listed. She's a mare we like. It's a big shout now, putting her into a list race the first day, but she's going to have an entry anyway, and all being well, she probably will win.
I have to mention my old favourite, Only by Night. She was brilliant last week. Her first winner, I believe, for Robcore, and she has been some servant for the yard.
Yeah, absolutely. First runner for Robcore, so it was fantastic that she won. She was gutsy. She looked vulnerable halfway up the run in, but she put her head down and galloped to the line and got her head up. So she's been a great man.
Best of luck the weekend, Gavin.
Thanks, Barry.
Gowran Park Racecourse, the premier racetrack in the southeast of Ireland, is located on the outskirts of Kilkenny City. Known as the race that stops the county, the famous Gavs Taestes Chase 2026 takes place on Thursday the 22nd of January. With packed crowds expected once again this January, you can book your early bird tickets online today. Visit gowranpark.ie online, click the link in the Champ.ie podcast video description, or scan the QR code on screen to purchase right now.
Now boarding the train of thought.
Calling out. Injury Lane. Statminster. Opinion Circus. Last Chance Cross. And Decision Time.
Back yourself. Boyle Sports.
Yes, very welcome back to the Champ.ie horse racing podcast, and we are now on to the part of the show where we pick our best bets. Before we do that, though, let's reflect on last weekend. Barry, Declan Quealy's Shady Lady, nice price, 2-1 winner last weekend.
Yeah, surprise, it went off 2-1, Dave. To be fair, down Mexico way landed an app for you as well, so it was a decent enough week. I was a little bit disappointed with Spillans Tower. I think I was very much disappointed with Spillans Tower. A Gold Cup horse off 130 in a handicap, given the fact that he was back in training since early August. I thought he'd, shape a lot better than he did, but I'd say Connections maybe a little bit disappointed there with Spillans Tower. But all in all, a couple of winners once again, Dave, into the mix. And in terms of the horses to follow video, I think we're 3 from 3. Spindleberry obviously getting the job done to go with Upon Tweed, who won for Nicky Richards, of course, up north, and flew in the park for Andrew Slattery as well. So looking forward to Derry Hiss and Paddy today as we're recording. He's one of the open chasers to follow this, novice chaser to follow this season. First run over fences at Ayr. So looking forward to that later on today as we're recording.
Yes, and let's look elsewhere this weekend then, Barry. Before we get to the NAP and next best selections, what else maybe stands out this weekend?
I thought Heads Up was very interesting in that Albert Bartlett, Dave, for John McConnell. Obviously, his form at the track, well supported, Dave, 15-8, I think from bigger than 4-1. But with the rain schedule, look, he's obviously by Blue Brezel. I don't think he'll have any trouble going through the ground. He's interesting. He was very good when winning down in County Kerry, Dave. And I think he could take a little bit of stopping on Friday, of course. Once pre-trained, Dave, by a great friend of the show, Mr. Thomas Coyle. So best of luck there. I suppose outside the ones we've mentioned as well, Dave, I forgot to mention Gordon in the bumper on Saturday. Particularly looking forward to possibly seeing either Grangeclere Park or Lemmy Caution. I think both of those could be very, very smart, and wouldn't put off anyone having a nibble on either or for the champion bumper. I think Gordon is particularly well stacked in that bumper division this season, and I'd say whichever one, whether it's Grangeclere Park, who I know they're mad about, or Lemmy Caution goes for the bumper on Saturday, whichever one goes for that bumper, I think could be pretty decent as well. So looking forward to that as well.
Absolutely right. Well, it is time then for the next NAP pick and next best pick from you, Barry, for this week.
Yeah, quite simple, Dave, for me in terms of the NAP. I think 5-4 about the Yellow Clay and the Liz Mullen hurdle. I think a race farmed by Joseph O'Brien actually in recent seasons. I think he won 3 of the last 4. But the Yellow Clay, I think if you're looking at race conditions, he's unbeaten at Navan, obviously. Noel Moran, 4 winners at the Navan Racing Festival last season to go Gordon's 8. I just think the form of this horse, obviously from novice hurdles last season, 2.5 miles around Navan on soft ground is exactly what the Yellow Clay wants. He'll get further in time, I'm sure of that, in terms of trip. But as a starting point, when it was down to Gordon Elliott's last week, he looked particularly well and forward for this assignment. So, yeah, the Yellow Clay NAP pick of the weekend for me at 5-4. And I go to next best, Dave, Kiva in the bumper. First run for Gavin Cromwell. Loved her point-to-point victory. Thought she showed a fantastic attitude. And so all the good ones, Dave, find a way to win, I think. And she done that, to be fair. She's a massive filly. And the fact she goes first time up in a listed bumper at Navan, a race that 4-year-olds and Gavin Cromwell has a decent record in. Kiva, I think, will be a very smart recruit for Gavin Cromwell from the point-to-point scene. So she's the next best on Sunday's card in the bumper at Navan. And in terms of an each-way long shot, I have to stick in Conyers Hill. Fascinated stepping up and trip. The ground conditions will suit. He's in off a nice weight in the Paddy Power, and the race could be very much run to suit. So there we are. 3 bets for this weekend: the Yellow Clay, Kiva, and Conyers Hill.
Lovely stuff. I'm with Col Cannon for Noel Mead. It's entered in a maiden hurdle at Navan, and if you go back to its last run, it was 8 1/4 lengths behind Bambino Fever at the Punchestown Festival. And the second in that race, of course, was Switch for Diesel, trained by Ross O'Sullivan. That's got an entry in a maiden hurdle on Sunday. That's going to have another big chance. And of course, that Switch for Diesel won a 1.5 mile maiden at the Curragh as well. So the form is stacking up well. I'm really looking forward to Col Cannon. It's the nap pick of the weekend, and Switch for Diesel then for Ross O'Sullivan, and putting that forward as a next best on Sunday. Well, you mentioned Noel Moran, Barry. We're going to hear from the man now, and he's looking forward to a big weekend at Navan.
Yes, well, whether it's Gaelic football or horse racing, one of County Meath's biggest supporters, Noel Moran, welcome to the Champ.ie podcast. And I suppose with the Navan Racing Festival on the horizon, Noel, it's a big week ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it now, Barry. Yeah, it's probably the first main festival for us for the season. It's really the one that kicks us off, and we try and get most of our horses out there for their first run of the season. So I'm looking forward to it now this weekend.
Before we come on to Navan, Noel, I have to touch upon, obviously, international affairs. We were keeping a close eye, thanks to Davy Boland's coverage over at Far Hills, the American Grand National. Zana here, I do believe, recorded career victory number 10, and what a time to do so.
Yeah, listen, he's been a great horse for us, to be honest, great servant to us, and that was one of his better moments as well. So it was nice to see him getting his head in front in a nice race outside Ireland. Listen, to be honest, I thought he was going to be pulled up after the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth. He never jumped a fence at all, which is really unlike him. His jumping was very poor, but Jack kept him going somehow, and he found a second breath and just managed to get him up on the line. So listen, it was brilliant. It was great to be there as well, and we had a fantastic day.
That must rank pretty high in terms of your favourite moments as a racehorse owner, especially with Gordon's, was it a 5-timer over there on the day?
Yeah, he had 5 out of 6. He won the first 5 races. He had no runner in the last race. So he had 6 runners in those 5 races, and he had 5 winners. So yeah, it was a great day for Gordon, great day for Colin Tra. And listen, the winners were shared around 5 different owners as well. And I think they were all present on the day as well. So we all had a great time. It was fantastic that so many got a winner out of it. And listen, it's just one of these days where everything went right. It doesn't normally work out like that, but it was great that everyone was there and they were able to enjoy it. And we had a great day and a great night.
I'm sure you did. What about, I suppose, plans now? Look, obviously, to bring a horse to America, it's obviously not cheap. No, there's a lot involved, but could Nashville potentially be on the horizon maybe next summer?
Yeah. Listen, we'll see. There's no plans made at the minute now, to be honest. He's actually back here in Bective now. He came straight back to Bective for a break. He'll probably have 2 or 3 months off. He's actually after having 3 runs already this year, and he's won all 3 of them. So he's actually running as well as he's ever been running now. So we'll give him a 2 or 3 month break off. He'll go back to Gordon in January, end of January, and we'll make a plan after that. But there's no plan at the minute.
Better days ahead. The Tri-Town Chase entered up one of a couple of entries for Gordon on the feature, of course, at the Navan Racing Festival. And this is a horse that gave you your very first Cheltenham Festival winner.
Yeah, that's right. Our first and only Cheltenham winner to date, ridden by Danny Gilligan on the day. He's probably going to end up in top weight here in the Tri-Town. I know he's probably the class horse maybe in the race, but it's going to be difficult to give top weight 12 stone to give weight away to everything in the field over 3 mile testing conditions. It'll be a fair ask.
He was one of 4 winners at the festival for you last season. I suppose when you set your sights on the National Hunt season, the Navan Racing Festival, it's really took off in recent years, Noel, and it must have been fantastic to get the 4 winners at the festival last year.
Yeah, no, listen, it's brilliant. I mean, the lads at the course there put in a great effort. I believe ticket sales are going really well this year, and the crowds are potentially up a lot from last year. So it has definitely taken off. The fact that it's a 2-day festival now, and I suppose it's 2 days at the weekends, it's attractive for a lot of different people and families and stuff like that. And it's a great day out. So it's great to be able to support it. When we start out at the beginning of the year with Gordon, we only make plans for 2 race meetings. And the first one is Down Royal and the second one is Navan.
Noel, just to stick on topic, better days ahead. 2 questions for you. 1, do you think the ground will really suit him at the weekend? And 2, do you definitely think he's well handicapped off 154 despite the weight he'll have to carry?
Yeah, well, I think the ground will definitely suit him if it keeps raining. I mean, if you look at the race he won in Cheltenham, it was bottomless ground in Cheltenham that day. And he stayed on very, very well, and even up the hill he finished very well. So the ground will definitely suit him. I think the ground in Navan, if we continue to get rain, it's going to be soft to heavy. It'll be very, very testing conditions. I'm not sure if he's very well handicapped now. As I said, it's going to be very hard to give a stone and a half away to a lot of other horses below you over 3 mile in testing ground in Navan. I think it would be a fair ask from him, but especially first time out as well too, But listen, hopefully he'll run a big race. He'll probably have a claimer on him. I think we'll probably have to take a few pound off him. So he'll probably have a claimer on him at the end of the day. We'll just have to wait and see what ends up getting in the race.
What else are we looking forward to from a Bective Stud perspective this weekend at Navan then?
We'll have a good few, Barry. I hope we'll have 8 or 9, 10 runners, hopefully, if everything goes well and all the horses get there safe and sound. We'll have a nice horse called Coyote Spirit in the maiden hurdle. I think the first race on the Saturday. We have a nice horse in the juvenile, the 3-year-old juvenile as well, called Wacky Stone. Fan to 50 will be back out. He'll run in the Fortria. What else do we have? We have a couple in the beginner's chase. Wingman will probably run again. He won last year. He won his maiden hurdle there last year, I think.
He was impressive there last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. So he'll run in his beginner's chase. He's going chasing this year. He'll run in one of the 2 chases. I don't know whether it's Saturday or Sunday yet. He'll be entered in both. So hopefully he'll run a decent race as well.
And what about the Yellow Clay? I wanted to ask you about this horse in terms of decision to stay hurdling. He's a horse that you'd have to think would stay all day.
Yeah, again, he'll run in the hurdle race in Navan, the Lismullen. Yeah, you'd be hoping he'd probably step up and trip after this. I don't know. We'll say we decided to keep him hurdling because, just being honest about it, we don't have too many hurdlers this year, but we've plenty of chasers. So he's still a young horse. We said we keep him hurdling this year and just see how it goes. I'd imagine he'll probably step up and trip after this. We'd be hoping he might stay at 3 mile and he'd be a staying hurdler.
Gordon looks pretty well stocked in that department. Is he a horse, I suppose? Look, obviously with the form last year with the Turners novices hurdle, he was only beaten half a length. You must have been really proud of his effort in the Turners at Cheltenham.
Oh, listen, absolutely. I don't think he lost anything in defeat. I think the first, second and the third horses there were great horses. It took £1 million horse to beat him by half a length. So, he's one of our own. He's a homebred one and he's been absolutely brilliant for us now. So he has last year. So hopefully he can just step up again this year. He's still very young, so he could improve as well. He could come on for last year as well too. Hopefully he will. But I think those 3 horses have finished first in that race. I think you'll hear a lot of the 3 of them this year.
You step found a 50 up and trip at Down Royal. So you mentioned maybe coming back and trip here. Is 2 miles, 2.5 miles his trip then?
Listen, I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure. We probably didn't learn a whole lot from Down Royal. They went a moderate pace in Down Royal. I think if we were to go there again and run the race again, we probably should have made the run, and then at least we would have found out whether he was a 3 mile horse or not. I'm not actually sure whether we learned anything from that because it was just a moderate run race. So we just brought him back to this one because he hadn't a tough race in Down Royal. He came out of it very, very well. So he won this race last year as well too. So he seems to run well in Navan. So given he came out of the race well, we just said let's bring him back 2.5, take his chance on, and see where we get to.
Tell us a little bit about the focus towards breeding your own, and some of the mares obviously have effective.
Yeah, we've kind of split it up now over the last few years. So we invested into a few nice mares that we can breed with here. We've been building that up over the last 5 or 6 years. So we have 12 or 13 mares now. So I suppose it's a mix of both. It just means we don't have to go to the sales as often. We can pick a few less from the sales and try and bring on a few of our own homebreds as well. We obviously try and give them every chance and bring them to the best stallions, and just hope that one or two of them work out. You know yourself, they're not all, it's a very small percentage of your breeding stock actually gets to the racetrack for starters, and even less percentage that win. So it's difficult, it's small numbers game, but hopefully we can get another one or two like the Yellow Clay in the coming years, and that will definitely keep us on the right track and keep the breeding going as well at the same time.
Noel, wish you the best with that. Before we wrap up, I have to ask you about Firefox, because he was a horse, obviously, in novice chases last season that ran particularly well over 2 miles, and obviously mixed it with the likes of Spindleberry at Fairyhouse as well in Grade 1 company. That form has worked out. What are you hoping for from Firefox this season? What do you think, I suppose, is his best trip now, and where could we see him maybe as the season goes?
Yeah, so he's already had his first run there of the season in Downryle last week, and he got his head in front. It was great to see him winning again. He was obviously running in Grade 1 company the previous year in novices, you're right, and he was coming up against very, very good horses, but he was always in the frame. He was never too far away. He was in the first 2, 3, 4. So he's a decent horse, obviously. I'm not sure he's up to Grade 1 standard this year, but we'll probably try and place him. Still say he's a 2 mile 4 horse. We'll probably just try and pick out a few races for him and place him in those that he might have a better chance. He's probably not just Grade 1 material this year, but he's not too far away from it. If he came on from his Downryle form, maybe he is. I don't know. It was a good start now, and he won well in Downryle, albeit it was a very small field.
Best chance of a winner this weekend?
Best chance of a winner this weekend, I'd say maybe Wingman in the beginner's chase in Navan.
Super, Noel. And maybe one that we haven't mentioned, maybe a younger horse, an unraced horse for us to keep our eye on for the season.
Maybe one that we'll have coming out later on, probably Christmas, after Christmas. We had her on the flat previously, was Zainab. She was a lovely horse. She was coming along very well. And she won her 3-year-old juvenile, but unfortunately got injured after that as well. So she had won a couple in the flat and then won her juvenile race and got injured. And so we had to put her away for most of last year, but she should be back now in January. And assuming she goes as well as she was going last year, she could be an interesting horse for the first half of next season now.
Huge best of luck this weekend to yourself and all the team, of course, at Bective and Cullentra. We have to mention the Meath footballers this year. You've been a massive supporter of Gaelic games as well, Noel, and must have given you a great pleasure to see Meath have such a fantastic season. Although we won't mention the war, loud in the final.
Yeah, no, listen, it was brilliant. We had a fantastic season. We'd have to be happy with it. We beat Dublin, we beat Kerry, we beat Galway. We got to an All-Ireland semi-final. Sure, listen, it was fantastic progress. Okay, maybe we didn't win any silverware along the way, but listen, I think we've made good progress. We have a great bunch of young lads coming up there. It was great to see Sean Rafferty getting his well-deserved All-Star last week as well. That's the first one we got in 18 years. So we're definitely heading in the right direction, and I look forward to this year now. Hopefully we can get out of Division 2, get up to Division 1, and let's see how we go in Leinster in the Championship after that.
From Dundalk to Longchamp, from the Galway races to the Breeders' Cup, Shamrock Thoroughbreds recently celebrated their 100th winner, and Ireland's leading racehorse syndicate has taken owners all over the world. Shamrock Thoroughbreds founder Stephen Thorne remarkably won the Winter Trainers' Championship at Dundalk during his first season as a racehorse trainer. To experience success with Shamrock Thoroughbreds and Stephen Thorne Racing, check out shamrockthoroughbreds.com.
Yes, you're very welcome back. And of course, Barry, before we wrap up this week's edition of the Champ.ie Horse Racing Podcast, you're going to be like Santa Claus on the show this weekend. I think that's what we're going to be calling you, with all the details of the prizes. And of course, that great opportunity for listeners as well to win that trip to Cheltenham in March.
Yeah, can't wait, Dave. Really looking forward to giving the prize away. Of course, I do believe the 12th of February, as we mentioned, on the eve of Red Mills Day at Gowran Park, we're going to give it away. That's a big trip to the Cheltenham Festival. And all you have to do, of course, is scan the QR code up on screens. And As previously mentioned in the show, Dave, if you're watching this on a phone device and you can't scan the QR code, it's very simple. The competition link is in the video description on YouTube, and it only takes a couple of minutes. Get your entry in, register your details, and if you're not in, you cannot win. Obviously, you have to be subscribed to the Champ.ie podcast as well, Dave, in which I think only 60%, only 40, should I say, % of our viewers are actually subscribed to the show. So it helps us out. Give the video a like, subscribe to the show, and make sure to enter your competition details and put in your Fivecast as well, Dave. Just a reminder for our fantastic viewers, two winners or more in the Fivecast. The draw's on the 20th of December. Some fantastic prizes up for grabs. I'm particularly looking forward to delving into a Clonakilty black pudding sandwich with the shark, handling possibly on the morning of Tiestas.
Absolutely. Well, we've got those brilliant prizes, more to add for you, of course, in the coming weeks. And we hope you've enjoyed this edition of the Champ.ie podcast, and we hope you find plenty of winners this week. From myself and Barry, it's a very bye-bye, and we look forward to your company once again. And Barry, before we go, I believe the road to Cheltenham mightn't be too far away.
Not too far away, Dave. Next Monday, actually, the first scheduled episode of the Road to Cheltenham Challenge. Building up to the festival, I do believe, in profit 3 out of the last 4 seasons. And we'll be hearing from a special guest each and every week building up to the Cheltenham Festival. Really enjoyed last year's series. And I think it was good old Lecky Watson who got us out in profit. But there's so much to delve into. We'll be reviewing the Navan Racing Festival in Cheltenham as November meeting on Monday's show. So looking forward to a blockbuster episode coming up on Monday to kick us off on the Road to Cheltenham, Liv.
Midland Travel are Ireland's leading provider for horse racing and sports packages. And they're off. Are you planning a trip to Cheltenham, Aintree or Royal Ascot?
But it's Galopin de Shaw who's galloping his way to Gold Cup glory.
Midland Travel in Tullamore have been providing a full range of horse racing packages for over 20 years, catering for all types of budgets. If the Monaco Grand Prix is on your bucket list, or you want to finally visit the San Siro, Stephen and the team at Midland Travel can help you realise your sporting travel dreams. Midland Travel are the only company in Ireland that runs coach and ferry packages from both Manchester United and Liverpool. Midland Travel also specialise in golf tours, school tours and club training camps. Check out midlandtravel.ie or contact 057 932 6777 for more information.